It's Monday. Welcome to a video diary. We haven't done a video diary for quite some time, have we? Not since the horror section, which is going back a few months, 6 months or so. So it's Monday. We got this big move around this week. Job one was to empty this. This was the classic actors section, if you remember. We had Cagney, James Stewart, Abbott and Costello, Bette Davis, etc., all in this section. But it's so tight. It really is tight here. And you can't really browse any lower than the top 4 shelves without getting on your hands and knees. And it's a bit tricky, to be honest. So I'm going to move the stuff that I do on the other side of the store. I'm going to move that to here, which frees up some space on the other side. You'll see that a bit later anyway. So this was a big job. First up, these units will then pull out of here. And fingers crossed, behind here should lie a framework where I can put the new fixtures which will hold the stock from that side of the store. It'll make sense. So that's what I want to do today on Monday, is take off these fixtures, put the new boarding out, which will hold the new stock, or the old stock, and then these fixtures will be recycled. These have to be broken down, so all of these will be unscrewed, because the measurements for where these are going to go are completely different. So first job done, time to pull these out, see what lies behind it, and then fingers crossed we can crack on and get this side of the store boxed off so we're ready to build tomorrow. There we go. Strip back. It's quite funny when I look at this. I remember my dad building it, because we used to have 2 units here, 2 standalone freestanding units that kind of sat side by side. We just held a couple of VHS either side. And when we started to grow a bit, around about, I think it was about 2004, 2005, my dad said, well, let's get rid of these standalone units and let's build like a shelving unit to stand in the middle of the store. So we did. It took all day. It was an absolute nightmare. And these bottom pieces are actually drilled into the floor as like a foundation. But yeah, this is all my dad's handiwork. And it stood the test of time, and it will last longer as well. So yeah, pretty cool. It's weird looking behind things. It's unusual. Like through there, we can see, hey, there's bleeding skull. Yeah, making progress. Just need a really good clean because it's filthy. Progress. So this space is now stripped completely. So what needs to be done here is I need to take off that slap board, to use this technical term. So that slap board needs to come off. It's in 4 panels, and that then needs to be cut to go here. So it's a little too big as it is, so I'll take off those 4 panels, and that'll need to be cut to go in that space. So as you can see, that's a really big space for films. So I just can't wait to get started on it, really. It's gonna be fantastic. It really is. So we're gonna have 3 bookcases. Obviously got Warner Archive here. Next door to that, we're gonna have Criterion. Next door to that, we're gonna have Masters of Cinema. Next door to that, we're going to have Indicator with third window at the bottom, with the third window section being repurposed for the new anime section, which will be sparse at the moment, but it will grow as the year goes by. So yeah, we're doing well. But yeah, today's final job is just to take this slapboard paneling off, which will unveil the original VHS shelving, and then cut that to size and screw it onto the opposite side there. Good. It's getting towards closing time now. Slapboard is off. Slapboarded off, revealing the original fiberglass VHS shelving. Yeah, this fiberglass VHS shelving was put up in August 1995, 31 years ago, to hold our VHS, because this was pretty much all the VHS we had. It ran from the door straight down to that point here. And that was it, really. Oh yeah, of course, the 2 standalone stands in the center of the store, which were about 6 shelves high. So yeah, that's the removal of the slapboard has revealed the VHS shelving, which is all battened out, lovely, ready for these 3 new units to go on. Hopefully that will go on tomorrow. And if we look around this side, The slapboard has been cut down to size and fixed on this other side here, ready for the other side of the store, which has been shrunk a little bit. That range, which means I can just increase the physical media on this side. But it'll just look the part, look the bee's knees. So hopefully when you join me tomorrow, Tuesday, then we should have 3 nice bookcases running all the way down there. Let's cross our fingers. Tuesday, it's close of business. How are we doing? Oh, we're nearly there. Built 2 units today. Built the fresh unit, the brand new unit, which I bought the wood for this morning. So it's looking good. That's the center unit. That'll be used for Masters of Cinema. And then to the left-hand side, that's the repurposed units. That's one of the units from the other side, extended in height, but narrowed in width. So they're looking good. Obviously, this little one looks a little bit battered, but that's fine. All these, of course, will be painted. So I've got 1 more unit to go, which I'll build tomorrow, just before I tape inside the video store. And that will go at the end. Then we just need 2 coats of paint. Let it dry then. I reckon I might be a little bit, maybe a day behind, maybe a half a day behind. So I reckon I don't think I'll be able to put the films on there until Saturday at the earliest. But it depends when the paint dries. And it depends how much painting I can get away with while the store is open. But that carries its own degree of risk. We shall see. But so far, very, very happy indeed. Yeah, it really is going to look awesome. Wednesday, here we go. So it's done. Looks like I'm going to have to tape video store tomorrow, as we're kind of running out of time. It's not perfect. Obviously, these are recycled units, so looking a bit scabby at the moment. But thankfully, paintbrush is coming out shortly. Maybe do a first coat tonight, then tomorrow do a second coat tomorrow night, hopefully. Like I said, it's not perfect. The old new release wall that we used to have used to curve inwards because there's a load-bearing pillar just behind here. There's a load-bearing pillar here, and it sits kind of inward a bit, so you can't have a flush wall. So if you walk down here, there is a slight curve going inwards, but you can't really see it too much. It's not too bad. But yeah, that's it. So get this painted twice. Like I say, Criterion here, Masters of Cinema here, Indicator here, then third window shifting eventually to make way for anime. Yeah, it should be good. Like I say, please, it's a pain in the arse job that you got to do. But I think going forward, as the politicians say, I think it'll be a really, really cool thing. And I think it'll be a great opportunity for people to see a lot of mega amazing films, amazing physical media releases, all in one place. I'm very scruffy. I'm going home to get changed. And yeah, a good week so far. And we're done. Hey presto. Job done. Second coat has just gone on. I'm looking all right. You know, when you think that both these units here have been repurposed, you know, they were around the other side. They look all right. They look pretty fresh. New coat of paint. They don't look too damaged or too ill-fitting alongside this brand new unit. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. As you can see, we got the boutique label plugs up here, UK Criterion, Eureka, and Indicator. And we're good to go. So just let this second coat dry overnight. It's Thursday. And then fingers crossed, first thing Friday morning, we're off to fill these units. And it'll just be nice to get these 3 labels, these 3 iconic, important labels, and give them some space for the first time in a long time. You got to remember that these labels are the kind of... these labels pull people in. So to have them here, there, is really important, because you got to remember how many people walk down this aisle every single day, either to return a film, to take a film, or just to buy something else. Even those first-time customers who are coming in and they're wandering up to the counter because they know they got to see me to find out what's what. You know, when they stop at the counter, the first thing they're going to see on the left is the money shot. effectively. The money shot, the jewel in the Snips crown. Criterion, Eureka, Indicator. 3 sections full of arguably some of the best physical media releases that we've had in the last 10 to 15 years. And I think it's a really good move. But it's done. It's done. We're all in place. We're all ready to go. And hopefully by tomorrow night, I can get everything in place. So for the busiest day of the week, for Saturday, it's kind of ready. Kind of ready. We shall see. Anyway, it is Thursday evening. It's time for Inside the Video Store. And hey, here we are. I hope you enjoyed that video diary. I don't know, sometimes wonder what you think of the crazy man speaking about wood for an excessive period of time. But I'm sure some people find it interesting. But yeah, it's good to document this thing, even if it's just for me, just to see what things were like before I moved stuff from place to place. And yeah, I think it's gone well this week. While we're on the subject, I know some of you like the detail. So this move altogether cost £112, which wasn't bad, to be honest. As you know, 2 of the units have been paid for effectively because they were on the other side. The new unit, what did that cost? 70, 80 quid, that new unit in wood. But I have enough left over. I have nearly 3 meters left over, which is going to make a new shelf in the documentary section. So that will grow by about 25%, the documentary section, hopefully next week, if I get a chance, which will be cool. So we can spread that out a bit and have more titles face on, because the documentary section is a little bit neglected. So yeah, the wood, main pieces were £80. The backboard, the hardboard backing was £10. And then I needed nails as well. And I used drywall nails in wood, which is outrageous, controversial, but I've always courted controversy. But yeah, pleased with it. So that's enough talk of wood for the entire duration of the show. Welcome to Inside the Video Store. I hope you're all well. Yeah, been a busy week. I know you hate this. It's boring, this talk of records being broken, but Saturday was the busiest Saturday I can ever recall. And I've been here for 23 years, and I've never worked a busier Saturday in terms of video rental. It was absolutely nuts. Obviously, the Echo article, the Liverpool Echo article, played a part in that. But to be breaking records in mid-January does not seem normal. But it's exciting. It's exciting. And again, it just justifies my move around this week. So aside from that, things are all good. I don't think there's anything particularly thrilling that I need to add to the start of the show, other than the diary that you've just seen. I will say that I'm going to record this in 2 bits because it's late Thursday. Yesterday just got away from me. I had to do a wholesaler trip over to Haydock. Oh, while I mention that, I must give a shout out to Brian Sauer, the great, lovely genius Brian Sauer. I've listened to 2 podcasts this week. I don't know if you know, Brian is one half of the Pure Cinema podcast team, which is, in my estimation, the only podcast worth listening to out there. Brian is brilliant. His best, if you want to download a Brian Sauer episode of Pure Cinema, check out his piece with Quentin Tarantino. There's a number of pieces with Quentin Tarantino, but the one I like is the one with where they discuss Michael Madsen. So it's Brian in Quentin's house talking about Michael Madsen's most underrated films, and it's a brilliant episode. And it's the reason why I listen to that podcast, because it throws up so many films all the time which you've never heard of or you're unfamiliar with. I thought I knew most of Michael Madsen's career, but this threw out some really interesting picks. So yeah, Brian and Elric, who also hosts Pure Cinema, they are fantastic. And I don't buy into the whole Patreon thing. A lot of podcasts do a Patreon thing, and I understand the reasons for it. They want to supplement their income, they want to afford nice, shiny discs and things like that. But with them, I have bought into it because I like what they've got to say. I like their manner. I like the way they present. On their Patreon at the moment, they have a great little feature called Film Discoveries, where Brian speaks to people he knows about some of the films that they've discovered over the course of the past 12 months, and that's a really nice thing. But yeah, I must give Brian a thanks, because I listened to 2 of his podcasts this week. One where he was guesting on Disconnected, their podcast, and he gave a shout out to the shop and Inside the Video Store, which was very, very generous, and to his podcast on Pure Cinema Patreon, where again he gave a shout out to the shop and Inside the Video Store. So Brian is my man in LA, pimping Snips to all Americans to subscribe to the channel, which is very, very cool indeed, very generous, and I owe him a huge debt of gratitude. So we're going to record this in 2 halves. It's a bit pushed for time. Want to get home, and so I'll actually do the second half first thing tomorrow morning, which is a really bad idea because I'm not a morning person. The one brilliant perk of my job is that I get to come into work at 10 a.m. and I would not swap that for anything. If I ever had to get a real job and I had to come to work at 8:30 or 9 o'clock or something, I think I would. I think that would be the end of me, because I just can't face early mornings. But that's a lifetime. That's a lifetime of getting up at around about 8:30 each day, which isn't bad. It's not lazy. I don't sleep in. I do get up at the same time every day, and I've done that my entire life, aside from school, obviously. But yeah, I've been fortunate to do that, because early mornings would do me, and people have kids and have to get up at 5 and things like that, and people go to work at crazy o'clock. I bow down to your indefatigability and your sheer determination, because that would kill me. That would kill me. But then again, I'm a night owl, so I'm up in the wee hours, in the dark watching movies. So I guess it's a trade-off. So yeah, we're going to do the second half in the morning, and I will have to put some makeup on or something, or maybe put a filter on, black and white monochrome filter to make me look less haggard. So today I'm just going to quickly flick through the new releases, which again it's a small supply because of the nature of the base. It's January, and then we're going to have a quick look at the on loans as well, which again is 10 as requested. So let's crack on without further ado, because we don't want to be sitting here till the wee hours. So what do we got this week? Well, the lead title is Black Phone 2, and I think Black Phone I saw at the cinema, and it was all right. It was all right. It was a Blumhouse film. Scott Derrickson, I think, did direct the original, and it was fine. It was fine. I didn't really buy into the concept of the telephone, which I guess does tend to get in the way of things. But it was fine. I like Joe Hill as an author. And yeah, an acceptable horror film. They made a sequel anyway. I don't know what it's like. Do you? Ethan Hawke returns. But yeah, it should be all right. It should be all right. I like the artwork. It's eye-catching. So yeah, that is Black Phone 2, which is in on 2 Blues and a DVD. We do like horror at Snip, so I'm in full anticipation that that one will do quite well. Next up, it's just been out on loan. Jay called in for this one. It is Roof Man. Channing Tatum stars in this alongside Kirsten Dunst and Peter Dinklage. True story, apparently, which follows Jeffrey Manchester, a former Army Ranger and struggling father who turns to robbing McDonald's restaurants by cutting holes in their roofs, earning him the nickname Roof Man. Sounds like a wild and crazy story that you wouldn't believe to be true, but apparently it is. So that is out this week on Blu-ray. It is Roof Man with Channing Tatum. Next up, we have a kiddies film. It is Gabby's Dollhouse. Gabby's Dollhouse, the movie. Um, I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is. All I know is it stars someone looks familiar, but I don't know who that is. Oh, Gloria Estefan. Gloria Estefan? Right, okay. And the Miami Sound Machine. No, the Miami Sound Machine isn't in this. And Kristen Wiig is in this as well. So decent people. And yeah, hopefully Gloria sings a song. Gabby Stallhouse the movie is in for the Kiddie Winks in a Pawsome, a Pawsome edition. Next up, now this looks an odd one, to be honest. I could swear, I may be wrong, I could swear I saw some half-decent Letterboxd reviews of this. Just checking them on. I could swear I saw some half-decent Letterboxd reviews of this, but maybe I'm wrong. It's called Primitive War. It comes with a punchy tagline, "This ain't no walk in the park." Grown. Vietnam, 1968. A search and rescue team is sent to an isolated jungle to find a Green Beret platoon, but lo and behold, they discovered dinosaurs. So it's kind of Born on the 4th of July meets Jurassic Park, I'm guessing. Who knows? Primitive War. It's far too long in duration. No creature feature needs to be 2 hours and 10 minutes, but it is. But yeah, tell me if it's good. Jeremy Piven is in it. Jeremy Piven wasn't he in the news for nefarious reasons? Maybe not. Anyway, I like Jeremy Piven. He was good in Grosse Point Blank because he's John Cusack's friend, wasn't he? Real life friend. Yeah. Anyway, so they're the contemporary ones. Moving on quickly to the new boutiques too this week. We have Gardenia. I might take this myself tonight, I reckon. It's an Italian polizioteschi film, which comes with a funky score and funkier fashions, say 88 films. Directed by Domenico Pialella. Plenty of special features on this. Sounds pretty good. And Martin Balsam is one of the actors. So hey, that's a cool thing. But yeah, that is Gardenia. It is the latest in the 88 Films Italian Classics Collection, number 92. Can't believe I've nearly got 100 of those. Crazy. And finally, in the boutiques, well, what more needs to be said? Full Moon High. Larry Cohen wrote, produced, and directed Full Moon High way back in 1981. Eureka put it out. They put out The Ambulance last year. It's great. It's just superb. This has never had a British release since the days of VHS, which is astonishing and outrageous and disgraceful. But here it is, courtesy of Eureka. It's out now. Which is just exciting. Full Moon High, Larry Cohen. You've got a new commentary by Steve Mitchell, who directed, of course, King Cohen. You've got an old commentary by Larry himself, which are always fun. And that's moderated by Steve Mitchell again. And yeah, there's some good special features in this. So yeah, that's great. Really glad to see that. That's Full Moon High by Larry Cohen. What time are we on? Okay, let's try and whip through these on loans in about 8 minutes or so. What do we got? Well, it's an interesting blend this week. We have what's great to see some Mondo Macabro films going out, and Barry took this one. It is a gorgeous double bill of The Wild Pussycat and The Deserter. This is part of the Greek collection. This is volume 3. Beautiful the way Mondo dig up these wonderful films from the deepest, darkest depths of Europe. Well, maybe Greece isn't the deepest, darkest depths of Europe, but hey, it's not your mainstream stuff. And it's great to get a double bill for the price of a single bill. So that is volume 3 of the Greek collection. The Wild Pussycat is out on loan at Snips. Very cool indeed. Our Ken is still renting out. People are rabid for Ken right now, which is amazing. Altered States is out yet again. It was the first film I rented this week. The Devils just came back off Mark. Oh, no, it didn't. He forgot it. Won't mention that. Um, Something else has gone out from Ken as well. So it is just a Ken fest, quite frankly. And now Gothic is out on loan, which is particularly awesome. Um, yeah, amazing, amazing. And this had Mike Southern as DP. Mike Southern was DP on it. And if you're interested in the work of Mike Southern, which you should be, because he had an amazing career, then you can watch my documentary, which is called, I don't know what it's called. Just type Mike Southern into YouTube, and you can say, oh, there might be a link below this, actually. I might put a link below this to our documentary, which is really, really cool. It's about 70 minutes or so. We made it during lockdown. And yeah, it's me interviewing Mike, except you can't see me, so that makes it even better. But yeah, Gothic out on loan, which is great to see. What's also great to see is the fact that I have a young lad at the moment. He's about 20, going through Kevin Smith's films. Just discovered Kevin Smith. I mean, this lad wasn't even born when these films are coming out, which is just amazing, and he thinks they're awesome. He just rented Clerks for the first time, and he thought, yes, this is me, this appeals to me, I identify with this. And yeah, now he's on to Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, which is really, really cool. So it's great to see young people discovering the work of people that I grew up with and became affectionate for. So that's really, really exciting. Even though, interesting that James and Lonnie did rent Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back quite recently, and they think that it might have kind of lost its edge in the last 20 years. So yeah, they may be right. I could do with a rewatch myself, but hey, we'll get around to that. Here's a film that went out that will never go out again, and sounds pretty terrible, but you know, good old I hate it when you're reaching for someone's name. Honestly, Dylan has come in about 3 times in the last 2 weeks, and every time he comes in, I forget his name, and I shouldn't forget his name because he's been in about 20 times. But yeah, Dylan rented The Most Fertile Man in Ireland, which is a film that, has anyone seen this film? Has any of you seen The Most Fertile Man in Ireland? I want to know this because the first time it's ever rented out, it sounds fascinating, to be honest. I mean, the Independents say, also the Observer say it's every bit as hilarious as its title suggests. I don't think that's true. But anyway, we have James Nesbitt in this and Chris Marshall from, what was that show he was in that seemed to run forever on BBC? I don't know. But I always remember it being on. About a family. I forget. Anyway, yeah, tell me if you've seen this. I need to know. The Most Fertile Man in Ireland. I've got a couple of people going through Fellini films at the moment, which is really cool. And it made me think I need to update my Fellini collection onto Blu-ray. They're looking really, really tired back there. I've got some Fellini, got a dozen Fellini films in store, and only 4 on Blu. Dolce Vita is in Criterion, apparently, but I don't have it. Need to address that ASAP. And the Optimum box set that's back there with La Strada, Knights of Calabria and things like that, they're all on individual Blu-ray as well, and well priced. So I must pick those up too, because Fellini is incredibly popular. Eureka is moving, as we know, and it's great to see that section finally getting some attention. Long overdue. Le Pont du Nord is out on loan. Great Gardens is out on loan. Hausu is out on loan. Another one, not an Antonioni film, Salo guy, Pasolini. A Pasolini film is out on loan as well. There's a good chunk of films from that section out on loan. So it'd be great to see them spread out over there. But yeah, Le Pont du Nord, which is great to see. 81, Jacques Rivette. Now, this is an interesting one. James and Lonnie have got a very, very interesting challenge this year. Very interesting challenge. They're going to rent one film from every country in the world cinema section. Isn't that the best challenge you've ever heard? That is amazing. So they started right at the very top in the Aboriginal section, and they rented Samson and Delilah to start off, which is brilliant. So by my reckonings, about 50 different countries in the world cinema section, because we go quite niche. You know, we got obviously Cuba, Colombia, Canada, Bulgaria, Brazil, Belgium, Austria, Argentina, South America, Slovenia, we've got down there, Taiwan, obviously, Turkey, Uruguay, Venezuela, Vietnam. So they're calling into some really cool countries. This should be a great travelogue. But the only thing is, when you get to France, what do you do? France is like 2 shows. So hey, but very cool. And I enjoyed Samson and Delilah as well. Finally, we have a threesome of documentaries, which again enforces my decision to extend the documentary section and make it more appealing. 3 unbelievable documentaries have gone out this week that I'm really envious of these people watching. Paris is Burning, which is just superb and looks at the subculture of New York City's drag scene. Mega. James took out Hoop Dreams. He returned to today, so that's a cheat. Hoop Dreams, Steve James, and his amazing film. Even if you're not into basketball or sports, this is still one of the greatest documentaries ever made. It is stunning. I think Roger Ebert called it the best documentary ever made. Oh, there it is on the cover. And finally, this is a cheat as well, because Lot has just brought this back. Lot took out The Thin Blue Line from Errol Morris, which again is one of the greatest documentaries ever made. It's described here as a landmark moment in documentary filmmaking. And it reminds me that there is such amazing work up there, and it needs more exposure. But yeah, they are the films on loan, and I think that's a pretty good week. So let me get home for some sustenance, and then you will join me, bleary-eyed and grumpy, for What's in the Box. And this week we have the return of Visual Vengeance and a stack from Vinegar Syndrome. So that's exciting. Right. I will do the old magic trick again and suddenly reappear. And I will have a clean hoodie on because I got paint on this, which, yeah, that's what I do. And we're back. Good news is I managed to get the paint on my hoodie, so, that's a bonus. It is morning. It is outrageously morning. It's 9:36 a.m. Outrageous time to be conversing on a Friday morning, no less. We've got 25 minutes, so let's see how we do. This is the latest I've recorded video store, funnily enough. Yeah, because we're going out today in 7 hours, so hopefully I can get this spliced up and uploaded on time. If it's late, apologies, but things get in the way. So, what's in the box? What is in the box? It's quite a big box this week. Visual Vengeance are back. Visual Vengeance are back. Rejoice. If you don't know who Visual Vengeance are, that's probably a good thing. They've released some of the most low-budget DIY films ever put out on Blu-ray, to be honest. A great label, owned by Wild Eye, who aren't the greatest people in the world, are not the greatest payers in terms of filmmakers, I've been led to believe, allegedly. And to be honest, for most of 2025, they were completely absent from putting out any new releases. In the past, they put out things like Necrophiles, Replicator, and other things like that. But they're back with Ozone, Attack of the Redneck Mutants. I watched this week. I really enjoyed it, to be honest. It is very, very low budget, with some horrific dubbing. Although just for future reference, I did not use the Ozone puke bag. So that is completely fresh and intact if anyone wants to use it. I think you should be safe, to be honest, though. But yeah, really good fun. Classy bit of shot on video filmmaking. Early 1986. Texas, I think, as well. Yeah, rural Texas. But it was good fun. It was really good fun if you like micro-budget gore and lashings of practical effects. The one I haven't seen yet is this one, which is called Violent New Breed. It is made by Todd Sheets, who's kind of got a hell of a rep in terms of shot-on-video films. Sounds great. Later period, this one's 1997. and also features blaxploitation king Rudy Ray Moore. But as always, with Visual Vengeance, it's packed with special features, 3 commentary tracks, interviews, behind the scenes, Q&As, etc., which is just, they are an amazing company in terms of the product that they put out, well worth the wait. They've got a slate coming up of about 8 titles in the first quarter, which is pretty impressive, including a Mark Polonia classic. I use the term classic loosely. That I can't wait to see. I've never seen it other than in a really grotty VHS copy. Okay, moving on speedily. We have Vinegar Syndrome to go through. Let's have a look at what's come in. First things first, obviously the titles that I cannot rent out in any capacity, so don't be asking, okay? We have the new Mitchell Brothers film, well, the old Mitchell Brothers film, as you know. Melusine, which is Vinegar Syndrome's XXX spin-off. They bought or licensed the entire Mitchell Brothers catalog. Mitchell Brothers are iconic duo siblings, long gone, who made some of the most iconic XXX movies in history. Last month they put out Behind the Green Door in a just spectacular edition, and it's well worth it because I love that film to bits. And here we are with Resurrection of Eve in, again, not quite the same gorgeous package, not on 4K UHD either, only on Blu-ray, which people were very disappointed with. I want my porn on 4K. But yeah, Marilyn Chambers is back in this, and there's again some really great special features which look to have been done in tandem with the unbelievable Ashley West, who runs the Rialto Report, which is kind of the premier historical archive for all things pornography. Resurrection of Eve, there we go. Put that one there. Ready to go into lock and key, I'll have you know. Also, from Melusine, I got Mascarino Cherry in, which actually directed by Radley Metzger. Radley Metzger is one of the most iconic directors in XXX filmmaking of that era. This one's 1978. Yeah, all the icons are here, including Eric Edwards, who I once interviewed. Annette Haven is in this. And yeah, it's Radley Metzger's final film, and he made some really spectacular pieces of work. So yeah, that is Maraschino Cherry. Right, onto the regular stuff that will be hitting the shelves at Snips Movies. We have 2 from Cinematograph, both on 4K UHD and Region A Blu-ray. Long awaited. This is The Gambler, James Caan. Carol Rice's first American film. British filmmaker Carol Rice obviously made Saturday Night, Sunday Morning, the iconic British classic. And yeah, just can't wait to see this. Obviously, it got remade, didn't it? In 2014 maybe, by Mark Wahlberg. Yeah. But again, as usual, Cinematograph packet with special features. And it's just great to have this here because I've never had this film in store. Nor have I had this one in store, Married to the Mob, the Jonathan Demme film, which is a weird one, isn't it? But no, never had this in. Music by David Byrne, starring in this film is Michelle Pfeiffer, Matthew Modine, and Dean Stockwell. And yeah, Jonathan Demme is just a great filmmaker, underrated protege of the Corman School. And yeah, great to have this in store. On both 4K UHD and Region A Blu-ray. This one was in the sale. Daryl, I know you're thinking, well, why get this on 4K UHD? I don't know. It was pretty cheap, though. It was pretty cheap, and I had vouchers. But yeah, Daryl, the classic family sci-fi movie, is also here on 4K HD. Nice artwork as well. In terms of the new releases from Vinegar Syndrome, we have Terra Firma, Lloyd Kaufman and Troma's magnum opus, I'd say. I think if anyone wants to sort of dip their toe into the Troma waters, I would probably point them in the direction of Terra Firma and say this is one of the best films as an entry point for the Troma catalogue. If you don't like terra firma, you probably won't like much Troma, to be honest, which is fine because it is rowdy and raucous. I'm sure Liam will put out his own version of this, which will no doubt be far more, much more of an improvement of terra firma. It's great to see Lloyd and his wife here in the UK over the weekend, making 3 stops in Sheffield, Derby, and Bristol, I think it was, or London rather. But yeah, really great to see, really great to see. And we do love a bit of Lloyd. Next up with Vinegar Syndrome, we have Made in Hong Kong Volume 2. Volume 1 hasn't really shaken the earth, to be honest, which is a shame, because there's some interesting pieces here. Despite it being Far Eastern Cinema, it's not Region A, so these are multi-region discs. We have 3 films: New York Chinatown, which was shot in New York City in 1988. We have Best of the Best, not that one, from the director of the Ebola Syndrome, so you know. And also we have Final Justice, which is the final one in this trilogy of barely seen Hong Kong cinema. But, you know, always great to get these things in, and that is a very decent release, and hopefully this is a series that continues. Next up, Dario Argento, Phantom of the Opera on 4K UHD. Not his greatest film by any means, rather late period. Argento is from 1998. Julian Sands, though, is in a rare lead role. We love Julian Sands, dear Julian Sands. And yeah, it's not bad. It's not a bad movie at all, but it's certainly not peak Argento, despite the fact we do have a Ennio Morricone soundtrack on this, and of course his daughter Asia is co-lead as well. Phantom of the Opera. Moving swiftly away from Vinegar Syndrome onto the partner labels, in the pink line we have the latest volume of Hasayasu Sato. 3 films from him, obviously. There we go. They're the 2 volumes in so far. Volume 3 contains 3 films I will not even begin to pronounce. But it's great to see these films. Like you say, pink films are very much an in vogue style of filmmaking at the moment. People discovering them for the first time, including myself. That's great. It's great to see them getting some attention. But they are not for the faint-hearted. They're a pretty grim exercise in excess. Onto the more subtle partner label releases, we have Smoke and Mirrors, which is out from Wild Eye Releasing. Been around for a couple of years, this one. It is a story of Tom Savini, 91-minute documentary from 2015. But hey, it's cool to have this on physical media. So yeah, that is Smoke and Mirrors, Tom Savini story. I have this on Eureka. Jake kindly informed me yesterday, but I don't have it on 4K UHD, and it is one of the greatest spaghetti westerns that's ever been made. So The Great Silence by Sergio Corbucci is here from Film Movement on 4K UHD. I don't know how many of the extras cross over from Eureka, but yeah, we have a couple of audio commentaries and lots of bits from Alex Cox, Bebington's own Alex Cox. Great Silence. Next up is another documentary. This one's on Christina Lindberg, of course, the icon who starred in Thriller. They call her One Eye, the quite remarkable Swedish exploitation film from maybe 1974, was that? And it's one of Quentin Tarantino's favorite exploitation movies. And this is about her life. I made 20 films during the 70s before becoming a journalist. So this proves to be a quite interesting watch, I would imagine. On to one of our favorites, Saturn's Core. The new release from Saturn's Core this month is Your Life is on the Line, a Joe Christ anthology, Volume 1. So yeah, this is the work of Joe Christ. Who is Joe Christ? I don't know. I'm going to tell you now, though. Outrageous, revolting, abrasive, tasteless. These are just a few of the adjectives that define the polarizing work of punk musician turned transgressive filmmaker Joe Christ, combining the gross-out provocations of early John Waters with the penurious, good word, penurious, confrontational shock aesthetics of Nick Zedd. Christ utilized video as a primary medium to rail against the cinematic boundaries of general decency. So what do we have in this? We have Communion in Room 410, Speed Freaks with Guns, Crippled, Acid is Groovy, Kill the Pigs, Snappy, and Sex, Blood, and Mutilation. Sounds like a riot. So there we go, Joe Christ at Snips. On a more subtle note, we have The Veil. Veil is one of the first releases by Vinegar Syndrome's new TV line, which is Iconoscope. They also released Don't Be Afraid of the Dark, but I have that on Blu-ray from Warner Archives, so there's no real sense in getting that. But The Veil, however, is interesting. It comes from 57, 58. It's an anthology series that predates Twilight Zone, but it has a very Rod Serling vibe to it. 26-minute stories, 12 of them. Weirdly enough, it was made by, I forget who it was made by. Hal Roach Jr. in the 50s. It didn't air. It didn't air for about 10 years when it aired on these like chopped up combined episodes. And then finally, I think it showed up on Tubi, maybe in a few territories, but not in as great shape as this. This looks remarkable. And yeah, it is just a great anthology. And not only does Boris Karloff present it, he also features in every episode as a supporting character. It's good stuff. Watch this one. This is a new release from ETR Media. This is a film from 2022. It's called She Came from the Woods. It's just a slasher movie set in a summer camp. Yawn, you might say. I thought it was all right. Lots of derivative aspects to it. But, good-looking cast and a quite interesting tweak to the formula. And I thought it was quite an interesting little horror movie. That is She Came from the Woods. And then finally, AGFA have joined forces with the Herschel Gordon Lewis estate. Herschel Gordon Lewis, if you don't know, made some of the most iconic gore movies. Well, the Gore Girls. Wizard of Gore in the 1960s. Iconic filmmaker. Always made things a little bit rough. Blood Feasters too, obviously. And this is two of his non-horror films. It is Blast Off Girls, and The Girl, the Body, and the Pill. They're both interesting. Blast Off Girls, very much like a Hard Day's Night kind of vibe. It's good fun, but like I say, a bit rough. So there we have it, Vinegar Syndrome. Nice little stack, not earth-shattering, but good film. Some interesting picks in there. Next week, what do we got? We have some Warner Archive animation coming in. New Warner Archive animation, including the greatest Tom and Jerry set you have ever seen. We have some Second Run coming in. That much talked about next batch of Second Run. Exciting. And we also have I think it's something else as well, but it slips my mind. We'll get to that. In the meantime, let's have a look at the comments. What time is it? 9:52. We whip through these in 8 minutes, and then we shall open to the public and welcome them with open arms. Let's have a look. A good week. I don't know why so many people watched the show this week. It's rare these days. I passed 500 views, but lo and behold, that's probably all Brian's work, to be honest. Okay, what have you guys been talking about? Paul Berryman says, you sold me on Exorcismo, and I've ordered it. Oh, sorry, Paul. It just cost you 120 quid. But it's great. I really did enjoy this box set. I've still got a lot to get through. But from what I've seen so far, really impressive. George, good to hear from George. George has the collection tin, which is right below the camera there, and does very good things within the community. George remembers his first ever movie rental from a video store was a VHS copy of The Mask, which came out in 1984, but he was only 2. God, That makes me feel old. George was only 2 in 1994, so he must have rented it a lot later, probably in the late 90s. Oh yeah, body horror suggestions I asked for last week, and people have come up with some good ideas. Ben says body horror suggestion would be the French film In My Skin. Good suggestion, Ben. Tartan originally released a DVD, but recently Radiance put it out. I've got it in a Severin edition in the back there, which is pretty cool. Phil says he salutes the yellow spine Bergman Tartan DVDs. Stalwarts of any world cinema section, and he's right. Would it be a tasteless suggestion to get a big storage wallet? Yes, it would, Phil. Do you have many customers who are still DVD only these days? Surprisingly. Yeah, I mean, look, times are tight. People can't just go out. People have had a DVD player for 10 years, 20 years. And so people can't really go out and throw away 80 quid on a Blu-ray player because there's more important things to think about in life. Not for me, obviously. But I completely understand why some people can't get above DVD. I know a lot of people are desperately trying to do so. I'm sure they will. But yeah, there are still a few people who haven't yet upgraded. So, but I know of a lot of people who have come here more and more, and have said, I'm going to have to get one because I'm enjoying coming here so much. It just makes sense for me to get a Blu-ray player, and they have done so. So I think it's just a matter of time. I know it sounds crazy saying time when Blu-ray is 20 years old, but I think it is a matter of time. Paddy says, body horror suggestions. Rejuvenatrix. That's a very good suggestion. Titan is very good, but there's no UK physical release. Men by Alex Garland, very good indeed. Or Brandon Cronenberg's movies, Antiviral and Possessor, very, very good indeed. Roxy says Body Melt, Brain Damage and Street Trash. Excellent suggestions. Oh, Matt says, talking of Peter Jackson, can you suggest your mates at Arrow? I don't have mates at Arrow. To put out a box set of all the early Jackson pre-Lord of the Rings, please. They're all out of print. Yeah, I think this is, unfortunately, these are films that Peter Jackson has a tight grip on himself, and he's working on restoring those long mooted. So I think this is something that he's completely in control of. And so I don't think any other label would have the ability to interfere. As I'm pretty sure he's completely in control of that, sadly. Fallon says, I don't mind TV movies. Very generous film. Especially Out of the Darkness with Martin Sheen and Joe Spinell. But then again, it's hard for me not to love a Joe Spinell film. We know. Except Rocky, naturally. Super Mario, body horror. Tetsuo, yeah. American Mary is a good shout. No, I don't think anyone mentioned that. And Super Barrow is also thrown out their top 10 of 2025 list, which is interesting. I think John posted that as well. But yeah, some good films there, including obviously Weapons and Final Destination Bloodlines. That's a surprise. But hey, interesting. Patrick for body horror. It is a Cronenberg, but his son, again, Antiviral. Yeah, Antiviral, second good show for Antiviral, which doesn't really rent as much as The Possessor, but good stuff. Neil's suggestion for body horror is Society. Excellent suggestion. Paul Griggs. Threads. Yeah, let's not go back to Threads. Let's move on. But Paul says he's pleased to hear that Twin Peaks is a strong renter. It rented again at the weekend. It's a show I revisit periodically. Yeah, it's just the best. It is just the best. James says, great episode, some brilliant additions to the store. We're coming on, James, aren't we? We're getting there. And Bob says, so Dave, why is the store named Snips? Well, the store is named Snips. It goes back to 1976, when my mum and dad first opened the store. And we're trying to think of a name. Obviously, well, I say we, I wasn't born. But they're trying to think of a name. At the time, in the 70s, a snip was kind of slang for something that was a good price. something that was cheap, value for money. Value for money. Oh, that piece of cheese is a snip. Oh, it's a snip at that price. And so we just thought Snips because it represents value for money. And I think once you give a business a name, I think you've got to stick with it over time because it becomes synonymous with where you are and who you are and your identity. So that's what stuck really. And I know Snips kind of works with film in some respect because editors snip a film. So yeah, weirdly, it kind of works, even though that wasn't the intention. But so that's the history on that. And finally, Paddy suggests an Odyssey Entertainment section. If you don't know who Odyssey Entertainment were, then if you rewind back to 1994, they were the premier label for true stories, like Hallmark TV movie true stories. They put out a load of releases, amazing films. I was addicted to them as a kid because my mum watched them on repeat. And I would love an Odyssey section. But I question if anyone would rent any of the movies apart from me and Paddy. Bear that one in mind. Right, okay, we're going to crack on and open the store and welcome my queuing customer. Why would people queue? Queuing customers. And I'm going to decorate my shelving. So yes, lots to do. 10 a.m. Let's hope we can get this out in 7 hours time. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully I haven't droned on too much this week, and hopefully the video diary was of some interest to you. Update next week with how it looks, and yeah, lots more. But thank you very much for watching. Apologies for the rather groggy second half of this video, and I will see you in 7 days time.